I thought I'd opened the wrong attachment.
Yeah, I can see that.
I thought, wait, is this a screenplay? Is this some kind of avant-garde poetry? It's
Hey.
titled The Scout's Journey, and on the surface, it just looks like a story. You know, a person walking through a very weird, very dark forest.
It definitely has that vibe initially,
Mm-hmm.
but then maybe 2 paragraphs in, the hair on the back of your neck stands up,
Hmm.
and you realize this isn't fiction, or at least it's not just fiction, it's a map.
A map is exactly the right word. We aren't analyzing a business strategy or a scientific paper today. We're looking at what the text calls a continuous immersive narrative.
Right.
And the premise is that reality isn't just one solid block. It's layered. It has frequencies, and this character, the scout, is walking through them.
That concept of frequencies is the key. It's the key to unlocking this whole thing. The text says that emotional states, fear, despair, rigid order, ego, they aren't just feelings inside your head.
They're places.
They are places, environments you can physically inhabit. And the scout is someone who voluntarily walks into them.
Let's talk about the scout for a second, because usually in these kinds of stories, you have the chosen one, right?
Yeah.
It's the superhero.
One who's destined for greatness.
Exactly. But the text is super specific here. The scout says, I am not special.
Right. I call myself the scout. Not because I'm special, but because I move where few dare to step. I just love that distinction.
It reframes heroism completely.
It does. It's not about having superpowers or a magic sword. It's about willingness. It's about, the audacity to witness the dark stuff without flinching.
So the mission isn't to conquer, is it?
No. And that's a hard pivot for us because we're all conditioned to think defeat the monster. Scout's goal is to witness, to map the terrain, to understand, and then to leave behind a specific frequency. Hope. It's a mission of presence.
But the scout doesn't go in alone. And this is my favorite part of the entire text. Before we get to any monsters, we have to talk about the anchor, Jinx.
Ah, Jinx. The untouchable anchor.
Now, for everyone listening, just visualize this. Jinx is a cat, a literal cat. But the way the text describes him, it's like describing a nuclear reactor of affection.
It treats him as a fundamental law of physics. The text calls him a tether. And this is crucial setup. Without Jinx, the scout couldn't survive what comes next.
Right.
The text explicitly says that if the scout drifted into these heavy frequencies without that tether, they'd never come back whole. Jinx represents a connection to reality that is immutable.
Immutable. That's
Yeah.
a heavy word for a pet, but it makes sense. If you're going to dive into the deep end of the psyche, you need a rope tied to the dock.
Exactly. You need a constant. Jinx is the proof that love exists outside of the nightmare. So with that rope tied around their waist, the scout steps into the first layer, the heavy world.
The descriptions here are just so visceral. It doesn't just say it was sad. It says the silence was heavy as a lung full of water.
That line stopped me cold. A lung full of water. It's suffocation. It's the feeling of drowning while standing up. The text describes gravity acting like it remembered something forgotten.
Colors drain out. Sounds get dull. I mean, if you've ever experienced a major depressive episode or that free state of trauma, this is it. This is exactly what it feels like.
It's not a mood, it's an environment.
An environment. And inhabiting this underwater world is our first entity, the Juggernaut.
The juggernaut.
Yeah.
This thing is pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Towering. Limbs that are too long. A posture that is just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's described as dense energy, and the scout's immediate reaction is biological. Every cell just screams, run.
Which is the correct biological response. That's your amygdala firing, fight or flight. But this is where the scout's journey becomes a kind of user manual for the brain.
How so?
The scout freezes, terrified. But then this moment of clarity hits. The scout realizes its only weapon was my fear.
Not hands, not claws, not teeth. It's feeding on the reaction.
Think about that mechanism. It's a feedback loop. If the scout runs, the Juggernaut becomes a predator. It chases.
If the scout fights, the juggernaut becomes an opponent. But it's just dense, projected energy. It needs your participation to be dangerous.
So the scout does the one thing that makes no sense. They stop. They breathe.
Breathed and held my presence. It's a radical act of non-resistance. The scout just stands there, legs shaking, chest crushed by that heavy gravity, but refuses to surrender to the panic. They refuse to run.
And the Juggernaut gets confused. It rumbles. It gets frustrated. And then it just moves on.
Because you starved it. It's like a panic attack. A panic attack is fueled by the fear of the panic. If you just sit with it and say, okay, I'm panicking, but I'm not leaving, the fuel runs out.
Wow.
The text summarizes this lesson perfectly. Strength was not in attack, but in calm, in presence.
It's basically metaphysical judo. You aren't blocking the punch, you're just not there to be hit. You're letting the wave pass through you.
Precisely. But the heavy world and the juggernaut are just the entry point. The scout moves deeper into the woods, the air gets thicker, the shadows start to shift, and we enter the domain of the 90%.
This part hit me the hardest.